Simbu Community in Leh celebrates culture to rebuild peace and unity. PNG Nurses Association clarifies domestic market allowances. And Sir Julius Chan cautions government to monitor logging companies.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. The Papua New Guinea Nurses Association has clarified the confusions raised by personnel officers on the nurses' domestic market allowance. All personnel officers in each provincial health authorities or provincial hospitals must ensure funds are paid accordingly as compliant to nurses' awards.
The Papua New Guinea Nurses Association has raised this concern following confusion by personnel officers on the domestic market allowance. Vice President Pradrick Kabai explained that there were two types of domestic market allowance: the normal DMA with a salary range of 3 to 15,000 kina, and the special DMA which is only applicable to specialist nurses with higher qualifications of masters and PhD.
So there's a lot of confusion being raised by the personnel officers throughout the country, and I just want to make sure that it is very clear to them that the special domestic market is applicable to all the specialists, clinical nurses, and those who are having a higher qualification of masters and PhD.
Meanwhile, General Secretary Edward Foy told MTV News 4,000 members registered under the Papua New Guinea Nurses Association should have received their awards in pay period 25 as compliance to directions from the Personnel Management Department.
Most of the workstations, the hospitals and the MAT have already complied by the direction from Department of Personnel Management and Health Department to implement the award on pay 25 and pay 26.
While the nurses awards have already been implemented in pay period 25, those serving in rural areas might receive it late because of remoteness.
But some areas they have not implemented because of the remoteness and all that stuff. But as far as we are concerned, like
Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea needs more specialist doctors to occupy provincial hospitals around the country. This is from Dr. Matthias Sapuri, who is the Deputy Chairman of the National Health Board. He says the national government needs to invest in the training of more specialist doctors to serve the people.
The question of whether Papua New Guinea has more specialist doctors is a concern for the improvement of primary healthcare. Dr. Sapuri, a former dean of the School of Medicine at the University of Papua New Guinea, was concerned about this, saying investments must target training for more specialist doctors in areas like urology and many others.
That's also a concern. There are not many specialists in Papua New Guinea, and you're quite right. At the moment, the specialists are centered in the main teaching hospitals in the country. Very few specialists in the provincial hospitals.
Because Papua New Guinea doesn't have more specialist doctors, the only option available is to recruit from overseas, which is costly. When Papua New Guinea has its stand-alone medical school, Dr. Sapuri says it will have to meet the demand of more specialist doctors who will serve in the provincial hospitals.
But again, the same thing. As Department of Health, we said, if you have vacant positions for specialists in provincial hospital, and if you cannot find them in the system in PNG, our national workforce, then put out the advertisement and recruit from overseas. They're just a medium filling gap for the time being until we recruit around and put them into the system.
Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
The intervention of the National Health Department and stakeholders has seen the reinstallation of water supply services to the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital after 4 months. Staff Frederick Kebai was pleased with the outcome and says they will continue to work together to resolve any issues.
The management actually moved in very quickly to restore our water, which is now at the moment, we're using it at the moment. Also, Department of Health has actually intervened. And now, latest information, the costing was submitted by the Edaranu to Laloki Hospital for them and the Department of Health to work around the clock to secure those funding of 2.3 million. And I think the progress is going well now at the moment.
Simbu people residing in Leh, Morbe Province today commemorated their provincial day, and they have chosen to stage the event near West Taraka, an area that has been the focus of police crackdown on crime. For the Simbus, it was not just about celebrating their cultural identity, but a sense of uniting the people of West Taraka through rebuilding peace among the communities. Julie Badui Oa has this story.
These are residents from Leh City, especially West Taraka, who have come to celebrate and witness the Simbu Day at East Taraka in Leh City. With the recent law and order problems in the area, the Simbu community did not hesitate to celebrate the day and to showcase their culture and tradition. The former councillor for Ward 6, Peter Wagu, said this event was planned to be celebrated for the first time in Leh.
We have stopped, but the book of Proverbs says, problems comes to redirect and correct and by strategy outline. So, we plan to have the positive side of the coin. Even though problem come, but don't have the side and look some good plan come.
This sing group is made up of women who arrived from Simbu yesterday to showcase what they have prepared to present today on the provincial day here in Leh. The young and old came in the provincial colors to celebrate the day. The coordinator for the sing group and a retired teacher said the younger generation should continue to look after their culture and traditions.
Culture of Papua New Guinea should not die away. When a new modernization of the computer world is trying to come in place and trying to take away our culture of our country. So.
Also present to entertain the crowd was artist Daniel Bilip, who kept these participants going. Young Gideon from Gumini in Simbu Province was so excited to celebrate his provincial day for the first time in Leh.
Bring on this normal culture,
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
Members of the deaf community have come together to form an association for the deaf in Leh City. At a gathering facilitated by the Morbe Special Education Resource Center, over 100 students and people with special needs gathered for the launch. The move will give greater recognition to those who are deaf or partially deaf. In many communities, deafness is misunderstood and many who are affected are not given the proper help. In the news ahead, logging companies to be properly monitored and public service to perform. All those after these short messages. Welcome back. Bulolo MP and Deputy Opposition Leader Sam Basil says the Bulolo district struggled to pay its bills this year for being given less than 10 million kina of district funds. Mr. Basil says all districts must be given equal shares as per the budgets. Commenting also on the foreign currency crisis raised by business leaders at the Sydney Mining Conference, Basil says the government has to cut on unnecessary spending. He says mining conferences should be moved to Papua New Guinea and not Australia. Bulolo district has two major mines, Hidden Valley and the upcoming Wafi Golpu, which generates up to 60 million kina annually. New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan says the inactiveness of government bodies to monitor logging companies is costing the people of Papua New Guinea millions of kina. Sir Julius said despite the Commission of Inquiry reports into SABLs and allegations of gross abuse, not much is done by the forestry sector to monitor logging companies. He said instead, logging companies are making mockery of government laws and using it for their benefits.
The New Ireland Governor said concerns over SABL, illegal logging and environmental damages needs to be addressed by law enforcing government bodies. For logging, it is the National Forest Authority that gives logging permits to logging companies and monitors their operations. Sir Julius said illegal logging and transfer pricing do happen in the forest sector. However, negligence by law enforcing bodies cause our people to suffer. In 2008, Sir Julius imposed a moratorium on new logging in New Ireland. Sir Julius explained that the courts had revoked all SABL agreements and found that over 40 SABL agreements were illegally granted. He said many independent international studies have shown that many logging companies use transfer pricing to convince governments that they are losing money, yet they continue to operate. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The New Ireland provincial government has taken the hard decision to restructure and realign its public service. It has begun with the top management. Provincial Governor Sir Julius Chan says the public service machinery must be effective and efficient in order to deliver to the people of this nation.
According to Governor Sir Julius Chan, high incentives and allowances over the national scale will be offered to the top management structure. This will be followed with the restructure and realignment of the middle management positions. On top of that, 5 new appointees for chief executive officers positions and 16 director positions will take up their new roles on the second week of January next year. Governor Sir Julius said the public service is a financial burden on the nation and communities, and it must justify and give back to the masses equal benefits it imposes on the public purse. He said all development depends largely on the public service running efficiently, which bears the responsibility of making ideas and policies of the government work. He said there's a very visible lack of discipline, initiative and pride at all levels of the public service, leading to mismanagement and corruption, misuse of power and position, and the cynical disregard for ethics. Sir Julius said there has to be ethical conduct in the public service to deliver accordingly to the people of this nation. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
On a similar note, the Rigo District Development Authority's new Chief Executive Officer, Glenn Ghani, has urged public servants to work together, work smarter and deliver the government objectives. Mr. Ghani, who was sworn in this week, says that time for playing games was over and proper protocols for the interest of service delivery to the people. He has called on public servants to maintain their integrity and smart administration and work closely with the Member of Parliament. As a lead-up to the grand opening on Monday next week, Mosby South MP Justin Tichenko today officially declared the soft opening of the long-anticipated Corky Fish Market in Port Moresby. The market was crowded with sellers, buyers and onlookers who wanted to catch a glimpse of this new market.
Tichenko, who was at the market on a dry run of the opening on Monday when EMTV bumped into him, took the opportunity to inform the general public.
I encourage everybody to come down to the brand new state-of-the-art fish market, first of its kind in Papua New Guinea, right here in the Moresby South electorate.
The new market came equipped with ice makers and refrigerators to ensure fish is stored in a proper hygienic environment.
We have over 150 stallholders here, so it's a fantastic small business opportunity for our Papua New Guineans here in Moresby South, especially those that live their lives selling fish and going fishing.
The project, according to Tichenko, was completed with support from the National Fisheries Authority, NCD Governor Powers Pakop and Puma Energy. Puma will of course be officially opening their fueling facility in the vicinity of the market area in conjunction with the opening on Monday.
It's open now 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, 7 days a week. The Corky Fish Market. Come and get the best seafood and fish in town.
But until then, the fish market is open to all. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
Up next on Trukai Sports, fun day for athletes. Stay with us for details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Talks are still ongoing to alter the bidding process of the Summer Olympic and the Paralympic Games by the International Olympic Committee. This was brought to light by the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach, since Budapest, Los Angeles and Paris are all in the third stage of contention. Bach said the purpose is to produce the best host for the next Olympic Games, though there are already rumors that the bid for 2024 and 2028 were already awarded to Lima, though he did not confirm whether those speculations are true. The PIH Indoor Corporate Cricket entered into its round 7 of competition, which was also the last for this year's because participants will go for their festive period break. The competition that started in November saw 50 participating corporate houses will go into finals early next year when matches resume. EMTV was able to watch a glimpse of the competition today, with the likes of PIH going up against Kina Finance, beating them in the men's division 251 after 16 overs, while Kina Finance lurked behind with 49 runs. While in the mixed division, Swire Shipping Hoods knocked out Credit Corp with 157 runs after 16 overs. Still on that note, the next 3 years will be busy for coaches, athletes and the country. The PNG Athletes Commission says while awaiting big sporting events starting 2017. Member of the PNG Athletes Commission, Chris Amini, said assistance will be provided to athletes representing the country through various services. These are services provided by the PNG Athletes Commission and its partners as they prepare for national and regional competitions.
Well, next year there's 3 major games for Team PNG. The first is the Youth Commonwealth Games in Bahamas in July, and then there's Asian Indoor Martial Arts Games in Ashgabat in September, and the big one next year is the mini Pacific Games in Vanuatu in December. So part of our role is to speak to these athletes that may be going to these competitions, and we inform them about selection policies. If there are any issues, like as I was mentioning, we try and have forums.
Representatives from the PNG Athletes Commission today held a Team PNG Fun Day for all athletes. It was a team-building session where they met and discussed issues which they face as athletes during and after sports. Kodineki caught up with PNG Athletes Commission and brings us this report.
The Fun Day was organized by PNG Olympics Committee through the PNG Athletes Commission. It also saw exhibitors from different corporate organizations like PNG High Performance marketing some of their products, IBS, Electrical Commission, ExxonMobil. Information displayed was necessary to athletes' career pathways and development, and also welfare, Olympic values, anti-doping and life after sports. Also present was Guard Your Cause team, Voice Inc. and the United Nations supporting sustainable development grants. Former cricket captain and member of the PNG Athletes Commission, Chris Amini, said it was a good program for athletes to acquire information related to developments and career pathways.
So there's 10 members in the Athletes Commission. We're basically the voice of our athletes, Team PNG athletes. Anything concerning their welfare, we are their voice. So we provide advice on any issues that are affecting our athletes, their performance, or any selection or anything to do with training. They come to us and we try and give them some advice on how to go forward.
Athletes also played volleyball, basketball and rugby touch matches as part of the Fun Day. Godbineki, National EMTV Sports.
And that's it for Trukai Sports, where the details up next. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow, in the southern region, showers and thunderstorms in all centers. In the Momase region, showers and thunderstorms in Ley, shower or two in Medang, and fine in Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, fine in Lorengau and Kavieng, a shower or two in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and showers and thunderstorms in Buka. And in the Highlands region, thundery showers in all centers.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's how we wrap up today's news, Saturday the 10th of December 2016. From the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.